live here from the streets of Chicago, Illinois. This is the Chicago Street Course, the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series live here on JCTV. I'm Josh Coppernoll. I'm joined in the booth by Adam Kuhn and Brett Bennett. Adam, starting with you, how are you doing?
Evening, Josh. I'm doing well. Excited to call another race here on JCTV back for the first time for myself here for the Coast to Coast Cup season. What better place to pick it than streets of Chicago, like you mentioned? This is going to be a chaotic race, I think, Josh, and it's going to be exciting for another road course race here in Coast to Coast Cup series.
I'm here.
I'm excited. Go ahead, Brett.
Sorry, I was waiting to you to call me in. My bad. I'm up here on a scissor lift, I guess, tonight, getting blown around by the wind here in the Windy City. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun race here tonight. Tight confines on this street circuit. First time we've seen, I think, any of the leagues here on JCTV racing at any kind of street circuit. So a little bit different style of racing, a little bit different than normal road course racing. Barriers a lot closer on every corner, so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out here tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see this. Of course, we saw this in real life. I attempted to race here in NIS. The NASCAR iRacing series didn't go so well. I think this is a pretty cool track, and right there you see Eric Heater go off track, and well, he's going to tow it back to pit road. But currently, Eric Heater is P1 in practice. We have 18 drivers so far registered here tonight, and 16 of those drivers have taken the time. Top 4 are all under a second. Wyatt Roberts sitting in fifth place, 1.2 seconds back from P1.
Just saw Heater get in the wall there off of turn 3, I believe that is, and that's one of the tricky corners. Just a 90-degree turn, and there's a lot of them on this street circuit, Josh.
Eric Heater's
He's gonna miss that one completely.
Yeah. So a little bit of a struggle there. And for those watching at home, I tried to get a track map that would work for you guys to be able to follow along. Unfortunately, there's not. And I only know 2 turns of this track by name. Turn 1 and turn 6. And that's actually where our Brett Bennett's going to be sitting at, calling the action. As you mentioned, or as he mentioned, he's sitting on a scissor lift, so kind of excited to hear that. And Eric Heater just struggling with that right-hander. I think that's actually turn 4.
I believe you're right.
So let's see. We got a minute 40 left in practice before we head to qualifying. So I'm going to ask the question that I always ask. Adam, you aren't really familiar with these guys as much, but go ahead and tell us who your pick to win is.
Well, I'll go with the reigning champion, Cody Rivera's, only because, like you said, I'm not too familiar with this season, but I saw him get it done very confidently at the Daytona road course last season. So I know he's got road racing skills. It's going to be a lot different tonight, obviously, as a street circuit, way different course than Daytona, but I think he's going to continue having a strong season like he's begun this season, being right now 4th in the point standing. So I think he's going to carry that momentum tonight.
Brett, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Luke Peters. Absolutely dominated Sonoma. Really probably been been probably the strongest driver we've had when he's shown up this season. I think he's going to get it done once again here tonight at the Chicago Street Circuit.
I'm gonna go with kind of funny. We're going 2, 3, 4 here, as I am choosing Aaron Brown. You know, there was a little bit of a joke in Discord earlier with these guys. I don't know how it came about, but everybody was saying that Aaron Brown no longer was around, and he was saying that he was still alive, and everybody was saying or giving their condolences to Aaron Brown. He's here. He really is. But you know what? I think he's going to show these guys that he is still around. He's still alive, and he wants to collect a win. So Aaron Brown, my pick to win. As we head to qualifying. And qualifying 10 minutes around this.
Yeah, we've already got Brady Floyd just spun out coming out of pit road to start qualifying. Now we see cars rolling off pit road.
And it is group qualifying. Malachi Drake. Drake brakes on his car.
No, we got another one around on the exit of turn 1 that looked like a... That looked to be our points leader. Maybe not. I'm not seeing him, actually. I'm guessing it was somebody else. Looked like the scheme that our points leader normally runs.
So Eric Heater, he was fastest in practice, and he is the first car. Well.
Big slide into the wall in turn 7 as they come around the plaza. Oh, this is where Chase Elliott crashed this year in real life qualifying. They're both going to just tow it there back to pit lane. See, Michael Wall is exiting pit lane now ahead of him.
Here we go. Wyatt Roberts coming off the very last corner. And gonna cross the line to start his lap.
Yeah, drivers even struggling to come off pit road a little bit. I just saw looked like Devin Frank got in the back of Brad Sawinski as Sawinski was exiting the pits. And Zachary Thornton, our points leader, is in this race. I somehow had overlooked him on my timing screen.
Wyatt Roberts was about to get hosed by those cars coming off the pit lane, and one put off to the side there, maybe caught the wall, and the other one drifted off at turn 3 and caught the inside wall heavily. So Wyatt Peters caught a little bit of a break there as he comes off turn 5 and going to head up towards South Columbus Drive.
Gets through very nicely in turn 6. Now going downhill, heavy braking, downhill, going to 7. 90-degree right-hand corner. Through 8 and whatever the rest of these corners are.
9-10. Approaching 11 now.
And off the final corner, Wyatt Roberts should have a time posted here. I don't believe he hit anything. And he does. A 129.634 for Wyatt Roberts.
Yeah, you're already seeing the tight confines of the Chicago Street Circuit come into play. Drivers struggling to record official lap times so far in this qualifying session. The 20 of Brady Floyd just had a big lockup in the turn 1, and now contact between Cody Riveras and wasn't sure who else that was, but I think Brandon Fiedler, who was coming out of the pits in turn 1.
Aaron Brown goes P1. on the board at 128.086. He's following Cody Rivera's.
He's got a good buffer. 2.5 faster than Jaber Burns right now as it stands, so you see all the traffic in front of him. Cody Rivera's going to pull to the side, but he's going to spread the needle there. Got 2 more cars just ahead of him.
It almost looks like he was going through a chicane. Eric Heater goes P2, 7/10 off, and Aaron Brown's going to lock up the brakes, hit the wall.
Down at turn 7, and immediately the 7 car back to pit lane as we go back to Eric Heater, who is, like you mentioned, second on the board now, but never mind. 42, top of the board, Josh.
Yeah, Wyatt Roberts.
And big contact with the wall in turn 1 for Devin Frank. I think that car's broken. He's going to have to tow. He just missed the corner and actually looks like he caught the concrete past the tire barrier. Got enough turn to make it past the tire barrier.
And we just saw Aaron Brown also spin again.
Jaber Burns, currently P4. 1.5 seconds off of Wyatt Roberts. And Aaron Brown in the background.
Got caught out by turn 3, 2 laps in a row there, Josh.
This track is so tough.
Yeah, and especially like we're seeing like Aaron Brown struggling. He's on fresh tires, and those fresh tires don't want to grip early on in a run. So trying to get those up to temperature, especially this next gen car on road courses, tends to be kind of difficult. We saw it at Sonoma, but I don't think we'll see drivers really taking tires at all tonight on their pit stops. I would expect fuel only, as meanwhile we got more trouble in turn 1. Zachary Thornton into the wall.
Back on the bow shot, we also saw Cody Rivera's catch the wall off of turn 5, and we see Zachary Thornton on pit lane there for a second. But yeah, but I think I might agree with you there, because might not have to take tires tonight. Just that might be a risk, but Sonoma being a 20-year-old age surface, that's definitely crucial to get the tires, get better grip. But tonight it's about just keeping the car safe and not damaging it and not destroying it.
Yeah, and we said Connor Zola hit the turn 1 wall. Looked like he didn't turn at all. This next-gen car, even at Sonoma, a track that should have high tire wear, there's like no tire fall-off, so I don't think we're going to see really any here tonight. The next-gen car's tire model, probably not the best, to be honest, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that it just doesn't... The biggest issue is cold tires, so once you get the heat in the tires, it tends to really pick up in speed. Meanwhile, more contact with that turn 1 wall. I believe that was the 30 of Matthew Miles. He's currently P4, but heavy contact with the turn 1 wall as he tries to improve his time.
Gonna be rolling off a pit lane here, and right back into the wall. Just slight contact this time, though.
Yeah, it looks like he might
pull out.
He's either going to pull out of the way and tow, or he's just going to let people by. Another thing to look for here.
Surprises me the most, guys, is that Cody Rivera's, who is really good at these road courses, has yet to post down a qualifying time. Right now, 12 drivers have actually posted a time.
Oh, and hard contact to the wall in turn 1 for Brad Suwinski, and now that looked like, I think that was, not sure which car that was, got into him there a little bit too on that exit.
Suwinski, another driver not to score down a lap, to Josh's point.
Ollie Reeves just hit the wall in turn 1. This initial start's going to be really interesting based on the number of drivers that are missing turn 1 just here in qualifying.
We saw it a lot in practice too, as Cody Rivera's comes across the line. Let's see if he gets a lap posted on the board this time. Don't see anything yet. There it is, second on the board, Josh.
Yeah, 127.066. That is 2/10 off of Heater. And wow.
And that's a guy none of us mentioned in our picks, but Eric Heater was fastest in practice and now is so far fastest in qualifying as well. He had some internet issues this season, and really at Sonoma he had some decent pace, but ran into some problems throughout that race. I haven't seen a lot of them up front this season, but so far looking like a threat. Meanwhile, we got a car upside down in turn 1. That was Brady Floyd. He's towed.
Meanwhile, we're watching Cody Rivera's
trouble in turn
shot.
6 for I believe that was the 12 car of Ethan Eckert.
Yeah, the 12 car kind of held up Cody Rivera's for a moment. Kind of ruined the lap there for Rivera's, but before that, he had a close moment with Ollie Reeves coming off a turn 2, Josh.
And meanwhile, Luke Peters has gone fastest here in this qualifying session. Only less than a minute remaining in group qualifying on iRacing. If you have started your lap before time expires, you can finish your lap similar to how group qualifying typically works at most series in real life. But if you're just exiting the pits now, like Ethan Eckert is, there's no way you're going to get a lap time in here. As that actually is going to probably compromise Brad Sawinski's lap too. Cody Rivera's, at least for the moment, looks like he's got clean tire in front of him. Almost clipped the apex on turn 1. Looks like he stayed off it though. As Malachi Drake into the wall in turn 1, that will invalidate his final attempt at a lap and will probably end his qualifying session here.
Cody Rivera's in the very high-speed section of the track. Those double right-handers.
Oh, and we got a car flipping violently in turn 1 right now. That is the 25 of Shaki Tarpley. Currently P9. Luke Peters also in the wall. He's still on the pole right now. Everybody crossing the line now, though, has completed their lap. So probably some people having some fun after finishing their lap.
Cody Rivera's
In turn 8 right now. Pretty good lap looks like he's got going, Josh.
Also,
Yeah.
just a quick... Yeah, I'm showing him way up on our best lap time right now, and I don't know how accurate my number I'm seeing is, but if that's the case, he could very well be looking at the pole here.
126.748. That is 3/100ths of a second off Peters.
So the standard Brett Bennett losing margin at cookie cutter mile and a half in ITPN.
Andretti Robinson. Currently 7th quick.
And just as going to note, as I believe everybody has completed their final lap, and we will not see any more improvements in time. We will have a possibility of cautions here tonight. Using a program, the admins here using Cody Rivera's using a program here that will throw a caution if a certain number of incident points are reached within a certain amount of time. We don't know what that number of incident points is or what that time period is, but basically the way it works on iRacing, if you have a major contact, it'll give you 4x. If you spin out, it gives you 2x, and an off track's 1x basically. And if enough drivers in the field pick up incident points within a certain time span, they will throw a caution, kind of mainly intended, like, for example, a track blocking accident, which here in Chicago we very well could see. So there's something to look for here tonight and see if that changes the strategy at all for the drivers in tonight's race.
So let's go ahead and look at our starting grid. Starting on the pole is going to be Luke Peters, Cody Rivera's to his outside in second. Eric Heater will start third. Trevor Burns fourth. And Wyatt Roberts will start fifth.
Aaron Brown's going to start alongside him in the 6th position. Andretti Robinson, we saw qualify 7th in the 45 car. Matthew Myers in the 30, starts alongside him, and Chucky Tarpley in the 25 shares row 5 with the 05 of Will Cloud.
Starting 11th is Cody Webster in the 08 Benchmark Ford. 12th, the Crunch Ford of Devin Frank, looking to not get crunched like we've seen him happen to him so many times this season. Starting 13th, the 28 Chevrolet of Brad Sawinski. 14th, the 09 of Malachi Drake. And 15th, the 20 Ford of Brady Floyd.
Starting on the outside of row 8 is going to be Brandon Fiedler at 16th. Ollie Reeves will start 17th. Zachary Thornton, points leader, will start 18th. Michael Walls, 19th. Connor Zola in 20th. And rounding out the field will be Alexander Schumacher and Ethan Eckert. So just gonna remind you guys who our picks to win are. Adam Kuhn picked Cody Rivera's, who starts P2. Brett picked Luke Peters, who starts P1. Of course, as it would turn out, they'd get the front row. Meanwhile, my pick, back in 6th place with Aaron Brown. Stage is going to end at the conclusion of lap 16. This race is 46 laps, 101 miles. The Chicago Street Course Grand Prix. Track is 2.102. I completely watched that. Track is 2.12 miles long. And these guys, this might be the first street course they've ever raced on.
Yeah, not a lot of street courses, obviously, on the Stock Car circuit. This being the first one in the top series of Stock Car racing. So Josh is going to be very, very crucial for them in the Coast to Coast Cup Series in their first time, because they have ran a lot of road courses that we have seen this season and last season, but it's always special to be the first at something different, and this is definitely something different with 12 tricky corners all the way around this place.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tricky race. You thought Pocono was tricky? This isn't a triangle, but it's still going to give these drivers a run for their money.
It's kind of 2 rectangles.
With a little bend in the middle of one of them.
Yeah, it was 2 rectangles drawn by somebody who is not good at drawing straight lines.
Probably me. Somebody got hungry here, and that's why this is taken out. Probably the
I go through the loop.
Yeah, probably the McDonald's sign right there.
Yeah, I would like to complain about how windy it is up here on the scissors lift.
Brett, we're only seeing 1 mile per hour wind heading west. It's picking up now.
Yeah, but that's not an elevation.
All right.
Pace car is in. We're getting ready to race for 46 laps here at Chicago Street Course. Green flag in the air. Already Aaron Brown moving out of line.
They are. Oh, Cody Rivera's got on the wall on the outside. Everybody else seems to make it through clear, but then Cody Webster goes around in turn 1. He's going to get it rolling. Ethan Eckert way behind the field as the rest of the field streams through.
So Eric Heater from 3rd to 1st.
He made an aggressive move going to turn 1, and it worked out for the best of him because a lot of people overshot that corner. They didn't hit the wall like Brett said, unlike Cody Rivera's. So unfortunate they're not getting any damage, but they abused the tires heavily on the start. We hadn't had a feeling, but here they go in the opposite direction here.
I'm curious to know. I mean, Cody did catch the wall pretty good. See a little bit of right front damage. How badly they might affect him later in this race. He was 2nd. He dropped all the way down to 5th after that.
And another big move other than here would be Aaron Brown in the 7. Went from 6th, like you mentioned, up to 3rd now. So good opening lap for that 7 car.
Yeah, incredible job there by Aaron Brown. Everybody right now just single file. 1 lap has been complete. Wyatt Roberts issue there. He slid.
Good save. We've seen a lot of guys get in the wall there on either direction, so able to keep the car a little bit under his control, but going to lose a couple more spots here going into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, and the field's kind of separated now into 2 packs. The top 11 have broken away from Brad Sawinski in 12th.
Yeah, I noticed that coming down the front straightaway. That made me wonder if something had happened either to Sawinski or someone just ahead of him that made this field kind of split into 2 packs like you mentioned. Or this is kind of around the range where those guys kind of stop being able to post qualifying laps, so it could just be just tiptoeing around this place trying to keep the car clean as you see Sawinski lose a position here going to turn 6.
And that was by
I
Alexander.
don't think that big a gap's just tiptoeing around. I want to try to see if we have some people with a little bit of. There's also Brandon Fiedler. Something must have happened to him. He's almost kind of trailing behind the entire pack. Top 4 have kind of broken away a little bit now from Traver Burns in 5th.
We saw Sawinski get past there. That was a big mover. Alexander Schumacher started on the last row of the grid, and he is up to 13th right now.
Yeah, incredible job by Schumacher. Meanwhile, for the race lead.
Big moment for Cody Rivera there in turn 1. He got really loose on the exit of the corner, kept it out of the wall, but almost more problem for Cody Rivera.
And meanwhile, for the race lead, Peters is right there stalking Peter.
Oh, and we got a trouble in turn 1. Brandon Fiedler locked up the brakes, got into the tires in turn 1, able to keep it going. Don't think he got much damage out of that, but he's well back, currently running the 21st position, last car on track.
Looks like a typical lock-up here at Chicago, just trying to get too high into turn 1 there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the first problem Fiedler's had. He was already running probably 5-6 seconds behind 20th place Connor Zola. So far, not going the plan for the 39 of Brandon Fiedler. Another thing we got to mention here tonight, we do
crash.
have.
Couldn't tell who that was just behind these guys, Josh. Someone got into the turn 7 wall there.
I'm not sure who it was, but one thing
I
stuck
see
out
Brady.
to me.
Brady Floyd and Connor Zola just dropped way back on my timing.
One thing that stuck out to me was Alexander Schumacher, who's going to send it to the inside of Ollie Reeves here. Schumacher was just in 12th. He's in 17th now.
Oh, Ollie Reeves, big move to the inside of Zachary Thorne in turn 1. Had to lock it up a little bit, managed to make it stick. Don't know if he's going to be able to complete the pass as they go down towards turn 2.
And he's not. He's going to lose a spot here too, Schumacher.
And what I was going to say, another thing to keep in mind here tonight, we do have the next round of our Mid-Season Madness tournament going on here tonight.
Yeah, 16 drivers still involved in that. We got 32 last week. Cut that in half and a move to the inside.
Oh. Big contact with the wall there off of turn 6.
That was Zachary Thornton.
See that move shaping up with Alexander Schumacher. They're going to his inside in 6, and there was just not room for both of them with the way they approached it. More brake lock up there for Thornton going into that corner.
And yeah, and the way this video match hurts, they did reseed after the previous round. So, and then they have said that eliminated drivers in order of seed will be re-added based on people not showing if people don't show up here tonight. So currently, it looks like we have our match value here tonight. At least initially, we're going to be Zachary Thornton versus Shaki Tarpley, Peters versus Miles, Roberts versus Well, Cody Rivera versus Cody Webster, Bradley Sawinski versus Malachi Drake, Michael Walls, versus Brady Floyd, Brian Lorenzo versus Luke Mahone, and Grady Robinson versus Aaron Brown. But I believe some of those drivers are not racing here tonight, such as Luke Mahone and Brian Lorenzo, as well as Ellis Wells. Those three not racing tonight, so I'm not sure how that affects our matchups. I'll eventually get that for us when we have a moment.
I saw Michael Warzo just make contact with the wall for turn 5 a moment ago as this battle continues outside the top 10.
Well, not the most uncommon occurrence, Michael Walls making contact with a wall.
Ollie Reeves trying to get around Thornton. Schumacher trying to get around Malachi Drake.
So our matchups tonight.
Something has happened to Will Cloud.
So I've got our official matchups here tonight. Zachary Thornton enters with 15 points over the new 16 seed Eric Heater. Heater actually might have a decent chance based on how this is going so far to pull the upset of the 1 seed. Luke Peters taking on Traber Burns. Wyatt Roberts taking on Will Cloud. Cody Riveras taking on Shockey Tarpley. Bradley Suwinski taking on Matthew
spin there in
Miles.
turn 6.
Yeah, hold on a second. That was Luke Peters. That was your second place driver, Luke Peters. And in one of the only 2 turns that Brett has to watch, he misses.
Well, you've got me. We do have trouble in turn 1 though. Brady Floyd did just catch the wall.
Luke
Ooh, a
Peters.
big dive.
Wow.
Big lunge on the race leader, Eric Heater there, and it went sour.
More contact between Thornton and Suwinski there in turn 6. Going back to our matchups, we got Bradley Suwinski versus Matthew Miles, Michael Walls versus Cody Webster, Andretti Robinson versus Malachi Drake, and Aaron Brown versus Brady Floyd. Those are our matchups for tonight.
We're trying to make a move on Suwinski.
So Ollie Reeves almost popped the wall big time in the plaza corner, turn 7, I believe, and actually turn 9, and he is trying to catch these guys now after losing big time, and
big lockup there for Suwinski in turn 1.
Man.
Meanwhile, that mistake for Luke Peters really has let Eric Heater pull out ahead to a decent lead.
I don't know about that.
Well, now I say that Cody Riveras is gaining pretty quickly on him.
Cody Webster in between. I think Webster was holding up Eric Heater.
here comes Aaron Brown all over the back bumper of Riveras.
Yeah, Webster holding up Riveras. That brings Aaron Brown into the picture.
And I'm wondering if Eric Heater maybe got a little bit of damage. He got hit pretty hard right around that left rear tire when Luke Peters dove it into turn 6 a couple laps ago and ended up spinning around. I'm wondering if that's affecting the handling on that 99 Red Bull machine.
Ooh, Brown, slight contact with the wall there in turn 1, but Webster just came off a pit road 2 or 3 laps ago. Now finally gets passed by Riveras through turn 2. Aaron Brown has to tackle him through the bend of turn 3, and see Peters back there trying to catch back up 5 seconds behind after his mistake.
And Peters, we've not really seen him make mistakes this year, so a rare miscue from him. Meanwhile, Connor Zola took a very interesting line through turn 6 there. It looked like he turned in too early, realized he was going to hit the wall on the apex, and basically came to a stop to then turn right and then back left. He is not far in front of our leaders right now.
Yeah, only about 10 seconds, maybe even less than that now, up
from
the
Malachi
road.
Drake. That's going to let Michael Walls get to his inside for 14th, and our points leader, Zachary Thornton, has locked it up in turn 1, brushed the tire barrier. Very low speed, no damage. He's going to keep it rolling, but he's going to lose a decent bit of time there.
Ollie Reeves losing a piece of his car. I think he's got a broken toe. He cannot turn his car. He's going to try.
Yeah, I think I saw him get in the wall a couple laps ago big time, and he's just continued nursing that car around, and I think you're right, Josh. Something is definitely associated with that car after we saw that damage fly off, and he's continuing to wrestle it, but he is not even going straight in some spots of the straightaway here.
And Eric Heater's lead is now kind of stabilized right about
hard
around
into the wall.
5 seconds. Luke Peters there was aggressively on the back bumper of Cody Webster in the turn 1.
And on turn 6, we saw Ollie Reeves just completely slam the wall there, and I think he just towed it, Josh.
I believe so. That was a hard hit.
Yeah, that car just looked like it did not turn at all, and I think that's probably going to possibly do it here for Ollie Reeves, and he has towed it. He is actually disconnected from the server, so
yeah, he wasn't. Sorry, but he wasn't going slow enough to tow it, so he just disconnected right away.
Yeah, and that's going to be a 21st place finish here tonight for Ollie Reeves, and likely that will eliminate him from mid-season madness. He was a lower seed. He needed points from other drivers to drop points to have any chance of advancing.
Oh.
Thornton in pit road.
Missed his pit box completely there for a second.
As
Fiedler just towed it to pit road.
actually, Iris is already eliminated on that.
Take a look to see what happened. It was in turn 1, wide completely, and locked it up long way down the straightaway and called it a night.
Yeah, Fiedler had really been struggling this race. So he will be our 20th place finisher most likely, although Zachary Thornton also on pit road, possibly significant damage there for him. He had a very long pit stop, 42 seconds. He is just now exiting pit lane.
The leaders navigated the 84s in the background, giving way for some more of the lead lapped cars there in the background. Brown, slight contact with the wall again, exiting turn 6. He continues just to be as close as he can be with those walls without destroying the car, Josh.
Yeah, I think Molly Hatchet wrote a song about that. It's called Flirting with Disaster. And I think really that's what you're doing, just driving around this track. These drivers, they are flirting with disaster.
Oh, and we got Zachary Thornton, our points leader, into the wall in turn 6. Once again, Cyclone Tire Barrier, he's going to keep it rolling. Really struggling here tonight. He's back in 19th. We also saw him struggle at Sonoma. Road courses not appearing to be his strong suit.
Obviously, we saw him on pit road a moment ago, so Code Tire was there for that machine and just straight off like you called that.
Yeah. Oh, and a big dive on Cody Webster by Andretti Robinson. That's not for position. Cody Webster a lap down, but a big dive in the turn 1. He made it stick. And the other big story here tonight, Wyatt Roberts and Cody Rivera both entered today's race fairly close to Zachary Thornton in the points. Potential for them to both take quickly as Zachary Thornton just locked it up again in turn 1 and barely kept it out of the wall. He's got Michael Walls. Oh, and Brad Sawinski into the wall, and I believe that might have been Malachi Drake right behind him, may have almost clipped the wall too in turn 1. Both very minor contact though for both of them.
And that it was Malachi Drake right there as well.
Yeah, Malachi's going to take that position through turn 1 and 2, then try and drive away here through turn 3.
Yeah, that is the battle for the 13th position. The last 2 cars on the lead lap right now. Brady Floyd, Will Cloud, Connor Zola, Cody Webster, and Zachary Thornton all 1 lap down. As you see, Brady Floyd going to get out of the way of Will Cloud and Luke Peters in turn 1. And actually, that's the battle for the lucky dog right now, if we were, on the unlikely chance we were to get a caution. Another thing to look for, the stage end is lap 16. We will not throw a caution for the stage end. Like the NASCAR Cup Series does at all road courses, except apparently the Charlotte Roval.
Ooh.
Eric Heater is trying to check out.
Yeah, the two fastest cars on track right now pretty easily by almost a second are Luke Peters in the 4th position and Eric Heater the leader, at least last time by. Obviously, that perfect and big contact with the wall in turn 1. Once again, trouble for our points leader, Zachary Thornton. He's just really showing. Connor Zola actually just locked it up a little bit, trying to get out of the way, and Matthew Miles also got on the wall in turn 6 at the same time. And it appears Malachi Drake, I don't know if he's... I guess he's not disconnected. I think he's blinking right now because I've seen him just disappear and appear on my time a couple times.
Yeah, he's coming out turn 5, heading down towards you.
And just so you're... Just a note on how tires are here. Eric Heater last time by just ran our fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:26.269. That is actually a half a second faster than our pole lap. So that really tells you how much the tires warming up and the lack of fall off as fuel burns off is affecting our lap times here today.
Yeah, the one
And
thing...
how much
Oh, it caught it
faster.
with the inside of turn 1. I believe that was Shockey Tarpley.
The one thing that I have noticed with these Cup cars, we talked about it as well on other road courses that these guys have visited, is, you know, with these Cup cars, these Gen 7 Cup cars, you don't have to take tires at the road courses. It actually is beneficial not to, as crazy as it sounds. You know, we're so used to drivers taking tires for more grip.
And more trouble for Zachary Thornton in turn 1, by the way.
More grip.
He just...
Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. He just... That time he kept it out of the wall, but almost spun it into the inside wall. Excuse me. And, yeah, it just looked like he locked the tires.
Double
again.
right ahead of Thornton going into turn 4, Josh. Right in front of the leaders. I see a hood flying in turn 2.
Oh,
I
and big
think...
contact with the wall in turn 1 for the 05 of Will Cloud. That might be... I might want to keep an eye on him. I'm not sure. That could very easily damage the steering and suspension on that car.
Yeah, he's having a hard time fighting this thing off of turn 2.
Oh, and more trouble in turn 6 at the same time. Brad Sawinski. I only caught the tail end of that, and that appeared to be Heath. Appeared to lock it up, get in the wall on the exit. Meanwhile, by the way, Eric Heater last time by more than a half second faster than everybody else. Just ran it once again the fastest lap of the race, a 1:26.082.
Well, he continues to have great laps. We have trouble with Sawinski fighting the handling of his car. I think he's
Right
got a
in front of
broken
Heater.
car. It's going to be trouble here. Heater barely squeaks through in turn 10.
Yeah, and Sawinski has a meatball flag, meaning he has damage that he has to fix, as does Will Cloud right now. So both of them probably going to be coming to pit road soon. You know, Connor Zola is on pit road. He's been on pit road the last 2 minutes. Might be the end of the night for that 84 Carvana machine. Likely looks like he most likely will, if he doesn't get back out, will come home tonight in the 19th position. Actually, a bit of a lockup there, though, for our leader, Eric Heater, in the turn 1 that time by.
Sawinski going to dive to pit road right ahead of the battle for third. We see it now. Aaron Brown just ahead of Luke Peters, trying to regroup from that mistake he had earlier, Josh, but he has not continued to gain time like he did. He has lost time getting in this fight with Aaron Brown.
And last lap for Eric Heater actually was almost a second slower than his lap before. I don't know if he had traffic. His big lockup in turn 1 was Brady Floyd. Don't know if he had traffic or if he just...
He caught Sawinski, but I don't know if it affected him
big
that
lockup.
much.
Cody Webster brushes the wall on the exit of turn 1. Right, that was right in front of 7th place Wyatt Roberts.
Battle for seconds heating up, Josh. Aaron Brown got very tight, third, very loose off of turn 3. Turn 4, and they're going to dive it into turn 6 big time, and little contact there off of 6.
Side by side, entering 7. Man, they were leaning on each other practically there.
And Cody Rivera just shaved another second off Eric Heater's lead. I'm wondering, I saw Eric Heater lock it up a little bit in turn 1. I'm wondering if he got his tires heated up a little bit angry at him somewhere on the circuit, and I think it's kind of stabilized now, but definitely Cody Rivera is now within a second of the race lead.
Lead's gonna shape up here, but we just saw Aaron Brown's rear end kick out in one of the sketchiest parts of the track, Josh, throughout turn 9, that looping corner, and he was able to save it, keep it underneath
Zachary
him.
Thornton wants to get in the wall in the tire barrier in turn 1.
Oh, he's gonna rev it up too.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get going, but
Brown is not going to be able to keep up with Luke Peters here, and Peters is going to try and start shaving off that lead that he was before he got caught up behind Aaron Brown, but we see this battle for lead.
This is the last lap of stage 1.
Don't think Rivera's is going to have enough here for this last lap, Josh, as they head towards Brett.
Yeah, Connor Zola. Cody Rivera's definitely far off. Definitely not going to have. Doesn't look like he's going to have him unless Eric Keeter make a mistake on the back of the track. Luke Peters has pulled away from Aaron Brown for that 3rd position. Also, Connor Zola, by the way, just exited pit road. He is now 4 laps down. Right now, Brad Stawinski also rolling off pit road 2 laps down after a 2-minute stop for the 28. Not a great night going on here for Stawinski, who entered today's race 4th in the points. Traver Burns, no pressure on him for the 5th spot in our save, and Dreddy Robinson, assuming he can get by the lap car, Brady Floyd will take home 6th stage. Cody Webster spins at trouble at the exit of turn 6. That was right in front of some of our lead lap cars. Matthew Miles, Wyatt Roberts was not far behind him for that. Shockey Tarpley, I think, made it through, but look. Oh, no, there's Shai Tarpley. That's another car. Shai Tarpley looks like he'll come home tonight, and it appears Devin Frank will take our final position in stage number 1, barring any calamity on the back end of the course. Meanwhile, though, I think Aaron Brown just had an issue because he's just dropped way back on my timing screen.
Uh, 23 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, we'll wonder if we can get a replay and see what happened to that 7 car, because like Brett mentioned, he was about 2 seconds behind Peters a moment ago, so while that was all happening, that was the stage, and he didn't lose any positions throughout it all, so we saw Eric Heater, of course, win that stage, as Brett mentioned the results, and taking a look at turn 12 here for that 7 car, I think it already happened by this point.
Yeah, he still came home 4th in the stage and did not lose any spots. There was almost a 20-second margin back to 5th place Traver Burns, but that probably will take that if.
It's the corner he got caught out the lap before, turn 9, with one of the sketchiest parts of the track. Very lucky he does not have a destroyed race car. He locked up the brakes pretty good there, Josh.
Yeah, that's in a very bad corner as well.
Ooh, that was not a good hit, though. Had to do it to get out of the way, but wonder how much damage that back end is going to have now.
And up front, meanwhile, by the way, as of now, both Eric Heater and Cody Rivera just ran both of their fastest laps of the race. Cody Rivera is actually the fastest lap of the race, a 1:26.006. Only gains, though, 0.02 of a second. Big lockup in the turn 1 for Zachary Thornton. He's really struggling here tonight. Likely trying to keep making laps and hold on to that points lead, though.
So, going back to my tire talk, I think if you're these guys, you do not take tires. Right now, you're running faster laps. Grip is not going away at all. You're not sliding around with your heater. Rivera's has been sliding a little bit, but I don't think it's affecting him he is still very quick and right here hounding heater. So I think these guys just fuel up.
Oh, and Connor Zola, big lockup at turn 1. That's going to check up the 11th place runner Alexander Schumacher behind him. Yeah, and I would, if I were them, because we technically do have the potential for caution.
Oh,
the way this race
Heater locks it up in the last corner. Now Rivera's right there on his back bumper. Rivera's looks to driver's right. They're going to be side by side at the line, entering 1. Heater has the advantage with the inside line as they are catching Malachi Drake. Rivera.
Eric Heater able to pull back out in front on the exit of turn 1 there. But biggest threat we've seen to Eric Heater for the lead today, outside of that dive from Luke Peters earlier. Meanwhile, by the way, doling out, but right behind the 2 leaders, Luke Peters just ran a new fast lap of the race at 1:25.768. He might have something to still say about this race. But before we
He
had
is
that,
loving these guys in lap traffic right now. They're right behind Malachi Drake, who's going to pull to the side, and I don't think he had enough time to recognize that. But you mentioned Peters. He had a 5.5 second deficit. It's now 3.7 seconds as Rivera's
Cody
going to
Rivera's all over
the
his
nose
back
into
turn 6, and they are coming up on one of the most dangerous cars to try to pass at all times on iRacing, Michael Walls.
Heater still struggling. He locks it up. Rivera's right there waiting patiently for the opportunity.
And what I was going to say about the pit stops real quick was I would want to come early because we have the chance of a caution. You almost want to as soon as your pit cycle goes. As Connor Zola brushes the wall on the exit of turn 1. If the pit stops, if you pit early and I don't think we're going to get a caution here, but on the off chance we do, I would rather be on pit road early and have that advantage of jumping everybody who pits.
Rivera's!
And big dive by Rivera's, and he's going to miss the corner! Hard in the wall in turn 1!
I think he clipped the rear end of Heater before he even made the corner.
Blew his engine.
And that ends Cody Rivera's chances at the lead and his race.
I think he caught himself off guard there too. I think he had the 99 right here. Oh,
I think he was trying to outbrake Heater, and Heater drove it in pretty deep. And by the time Heater broke, Rivera's was just way too deep past the braking marker, and he had no chance of making that corner. And a good job by Michael Walls to not actually hit the back of
Michael very.
Luke Peters now only 2 seconds back of Eric Heater.
And that worked out perfectly for Peters, really. He just wanted the 99 to get more damaged.
And Cody Rivera was looking like he was going to take the points lead here tonight if things played out like they were running, but unfortunately that probably will end any chance of him doing that here tonight. Probably going to come down to Wyatt Roberts and Zachary Thornton, who will be leading the points after a day's race.
Zachary Thornton currently P16, 2 laps down. He's been struggling big time to get around this track. But
yeah, Wyatt Roberts, I don't think he's going to get enough points to get by him, but Wyatt Roberts currently in the 7th position. Meanwhile, Luke Peters is eating into Eric Heater's lead very quickly right now.
Yeah, Heater, as much as you want to say he's comfortable now that Rivera's isn't stalking him, Heater's not comfortable at all, as Peters is the quickest car on track, and 1.5 seconds is the deficit between Heater and Peters.
Yeah, but as we say that, Eric Heater has turned it back on this time around.
Oh, he locks up his brakes a little bit there at 6. It wasn't much, but it's just going to help Peters. Now it is under a second. Peters is hauling right now, catching Heater 0.7 of a second back.
You know, Cody Webster has got around Brady Floyd for the 13th position in turn 1.
Peters right now is just again floating with the wall off of every corner, especially in turn 7. Again, there in 11 is here he comes into turn 12. Let's see how wide he gets on the exit.
Yeah, and Peters, you got to be careful. As we saw last time, he tried to make a move for the lead. He got in way too deep and ended up hitting Heater and spinning out. He is now, though, right on his back bumper as they exit turn 1.
I think the lesson we have all learned is don't dive in turn 1 and 6. He's going to make a swing in turn 2 and get blocked off there. Oh! That worked out perfectly for Peters.
Now what does Cedar do to respond?
I don't know if he can respond. He overshot turn 2 there, and new leader Peters, so Eric Heater's going to just have to sit back and watch them into turn 5 here.
Yeah, and Peters just ran a 125.598. That was a full second faster than our pole speed here today, so Luke Peters right now, but Eric Heater still right on his back bumper as they go through turn 6. Good exit for Heater. He's going to pressure him here into turn 7.
Looking to the inside, not there. Heater tucks back in the line behind Peters.
Yeah, and every time it looks like Heater's burned those tires off and is going to start to fade back, he really starts to find it back. So honestly, I think this race between those two, I think they're pretty evenly matched. It might come down to who gets cleaner on and off pit road whenever they come down for likely will be their one stop of the race, because I do not believe anybody can make it on fuel. Meanwhile, Alexander Schumacher and Devin Frank.
Heater's in.
Yeah, and this could be the move right here. If he gets on and off pit road well, he needs to not take tires. I think we're all in agreement on that. Meanwhile, Matthew Miles, Devin Frank, and Alexander Schumacher have all pitted. Looks like Devin Frank and Matthew Miles did take tires, as has Brady Floyd. As Eric Heater pulls into his pit box.
It looks like he stopped just short, had to pull up just a little bit. That might be a mistake.
And he did not take tires, I believe. 12.1 second stop. Pretty long stop, making sure he got full gas, and he got almost that pit exit here kind of sketchy. He almost looked like he almost caught the tires exiting the pits, but he gets out cleanly. A 38.1 total seconds on pit road for the 99 of Eric Heater. Meanwhile, big lockup for Zachary Thornton, just keeps it out of the wall. By the way, third place, Aaron Brown, also on pit road, as is our fifth place driver, Andretti Robinson. Aaron Brown away in 11.8 seconds.
Won't call for Heater to pit the lap. He lost the lead. That's pretty much the ideal place as we see Brown come off pit road behind Roberts here in the 5th position now.
And by the way, we have seen Will Cloud has dropped out of session due to packet loss. Might be the end of his night. So we scored on 17.
Peters.
Yeah, Luke Peters now on pit road, our race leader.
So these two had such a big gap that Heater, after he came in and got out, he was still in second. Peters in his box, looks clean.
Yeah, and Heater was going to be fine. Third place Aaron Brown had pitted as well, so Traver Burns was pretty far back of him. As we see Luke Peters exiting the pits, he was actually 0.8 of a second slower on pit road, but he is still going to be ahead of Eric Heater. I think his in and out laps were better. Peters might have taken tires though. That was a 14.1 second stop. I'm not sure, but Peters, that stop time seems to be indicative of having taken tires.
I did not see any side of his vehicle going up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll sail pretty quickly if he's struggling here or not. We'll see what kind of pace he has. If he's able to keep running the laps he was, I would say he didn't take tires. But if he starts dropping back, that's why. I don't think you would need to be stopped for 14 seconds unless you were taking tires, unless maybe you took a little bit of damage. And maybe he was looking at that gap and taking a little bit of damage.
Heater in the wall!
Oh, big contact in turn 7. Saw him just slightly kiss it in turn 2 on the approach to turn 2, actually, right off the pit road, and he's just continuing to push the limits here as soon as he got passed by Peters. And you mentioned, Josh, that's where most of the speed is probably around this place, is just trying to find the limits, and these guys having issues with it tonight, of course. Just debut trip here, Chicago Street Course, and it's been pretty much what we had come to expect, but Heater now 2 seconds behind Luke Peters going to turn 1.
Yeah, that might have been his chance, but he just gained another 8. He just gained 8/10 back. I don't know if Peters had a little slip though in the exit turn 1 that I didn't catch, but it's not over yet. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm very interested to see what kind of lap time Luke Peters runs here, because that will really tell us, did he take 2 or 4 tires? Did he take fuel only or tires?
Meanwhile, we've got a battle for 6th. Matthew Miles. I'm sorry, make that 4th. Matthew Miles has the position. Andretti Robinson wants it.
Andretti Robinson gonna stay in line behind him through turn 1 as they head down towards turn 2. Also, Wyatt Roberts just behind that battle, watching on. Meanwhile, our leaders are coming up on our 7th and 8th place runners, Shockey Tarpley and Devin Frank. That's something to look for is if they get... Oh, it's Brad Sawinski into the wall right in front of our race leader, Luke Peters.
Sawinski does keep it going, but he's going to be right there in front of Peters.
And Peters still running 126.1, so I do agree that he took fuel only. Heater has dropped off. I think Heater's tires just have not held up as well as Luke Peters in this race.
Well, that and that contact definitely did not help. I am surprised Heater did not break a toe wing there. That was a hard hit.
Yeah, we've seen lots of guys, especially in that practice and qualifying session right before the race. Just
we got somebody hard in the wall on the exit of turn 1. That is Cody Webster.
Right here where Eric Heater's going through right now, turn 7 has been a very tricky spot for a lot of guys, especially in that practice and qualifying session, and destroyed cars, and he did a good job, I guess, minimizing the damage. I assume there is some kind of damage on that car, though, considering, like we mentioned, he is losing time to Peters right now, but obviously he wasn't quite as fast as Peters, relatively lap by lap in the grand scheme of things, with Peters catching him there, but it could have been a good battle all the way to the end there, but just the load of contact there for Heater, and it could be away from that.
Yeah, and Luke Peters just ran our fast lap of the race at 125.557. Heater's still running like 126 flats, but Luke Peters is just absolutely torching this track right now. Meanwhile, Wyatt Roberts is closing in on that battle for 4th between Andretti Robinson and Matthew Miles.
Yeah, these guys still battling. And I think Robinson might just be a little patient here. He's not close enough to make the move, but he's staying there with Miles, and I think he's just staying patient. He knows he can't make a mistake.
As Michael Walls locks up in turn 1, able to keep it out of the fence. But still, Eric Heater, I believe, is in position to advance in the Mid-Season Madness tournament. He is the 16 seed in this round, going up against the 1 seed Zachary Thornton. Looking to pull a UMBC here tonight, or a Fairleigh Dickinson. But he needs to outscore Zachary Thornton by at least 16 points, and so far he appears to be doing so. Luke Peters is looking like he will almost certainly... Luke Peters, if he stays out of trouble, will advance over Traper Burns. Wyatt Roberts, barring him having issues, will advance over Will Cloud. Shockey Tarpley does have a chance at upsetting Cody Riveras after Cody Riveras' troubles earlier. In fact, that appears to be where, as they run right now, what would be the case. You know, big lap for Zachary Thornton in front of Aaron Brown in turn 1.
Aaron Brown gonna go around. He spins.
Yeah, and it looks that it might have been caused by Zachary Thornton locking up right in front of him in turn 1. Brad Sawinski looks like he's going to be upset by Matthew Miles here tonight.
Looks like Brown just lost it on his own there off of turn 1.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if he just kind of made a course correction because of Thornton is what I was thinking maybe. Michael Walls looking like he likely will advance over Cody Webster if he can keep it clean the rest of the race. Andretti Robinson looking in good shape over Malachi Drake, and Aaron Brown looking like he will advance over Brady Floyd, barring unforeseen events in this race.
Traper Burns takes over 10th from Michael Walls.
Oh, big contact in turn 6 for number 20 of Brady Floyd. He looked like he was up against the outside wall before he even got to the corner and then just plowed the tire barrier. Kept going.
Not really.
Well, he made it out of my line of sight.
Take a look at the CCTV replay here.
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, he just went behind the trees.
Yeah, he locked it up big time, way down the straightaway, and just kind of did a few donuts before moving out of the way to tell it.
Yeah, that might do it for Brady Floyd. By the way, other drivers have DNF so far. Will Cloud appears will be our 18th place finisher here tonight. Cody Riveros will likely be 17th. If that is the end of Brady Floyd's night, he will be 16th. Alexander Schumacher has left the session. He is likely going to finish 15th. Brad Sawinski's still making laps. Probably going to pass him for that 14th position. Meanwhile, Eric Heater actually was faster than Luke Peters this past time by, barely, but now out to a 4.5 second lead is the 50 of Luke Peters.
Oh, good Lord, who was it? That was Shockey Tarpley.
Rolling off a turn 2 here. Let's look at the JCTV replay. Contact with that tire bonder right there, and just wide in the center of the corner and missed the exit there, Josh.
And he has a meatball. That actually does have implications for our tournament. Cody Riveros is the guy he's against. He needed to outscore Cody Riveros by 9 points. He appeared to be in position to do so, but I am not sure if he is out of this race. That would drop him probably to the 14th position. And he only finished 3 positions ahead of Cody Riveros, so it would really come down to things like stage points in that case, and not sure how that would end up playing out.
So for Shockey Tarpley, you mentioned he has a meatball. So Brett did mention it earlier. It is required repairs. Now those required repairs could be literally anything, and I don't see his car being affected as to where he can't turn.
Yeah, and if that's the case. If that's the case, I would guess it's like going to be about 45 seconds of required repairs.
Oh, well, that could add more to it. That was Devin Frank. I don't think Frank was expecting Tarpley to go into pit road there. A little bit of contact.
Meanwhile, I don't know if something happened, but last time by, Eric Heater ran a 1:28.7. Lost another 2 seconds to our race lead. He is now 8 seconds behind the 50 of Luke Peters. Now, Brady Floyd just exited the pits and immediately towed again. Don't think he got that car fixed all the way. Another big lockup for the 28 of Brad Sawinski in turn 1. He's still making laps. He's about past Alexander Schumacher to move up into 14th position. He is 8 laps down right now.
Robinson getting around Michael Walls there. In the background, Roberts behind Walls and Burns. Miles has been able to separate himself by a couple of seconds. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, God, that's on turn 1! Michael Walls around in front of several cars. Everybody able to get through. That was Michael Walls. Shockey Tarpley had about taken his required repairs and was exiting the pits. And Micah just... Shockey had nowhere to go, and that was for the 10th position, actually. That was for position, and Micah got into him on exit, did a loop, able to keep it going.
That was just wrong place, wrong time there. As we look at the replay, and poor Shockey just rode the wall for a little bit. They were kind of, I think, surprised at what happened.
Yeah, and Shockey Tarpley has gotten back out. He is 7 spots ahead of Cody Riveros. I believe he needs to outscore him by 10 points to advance, and I am... not sure how that plays out because I do not have the calculations in front of me on points, but still I believe in a spot to advance over Cody Riveros.
Well, Josh, we have a driver released from the Chaos Center. Actually, one of the contenders from earlier in the race, Cody Riveros.
Go ahead and bring him in.
Hey Cody, it's the guys up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Got you. Got me?
Yeah, well, it was pretty exciting race there in the first half for yourself. We saw a big dive going to turn 1. What happened from your seat of the 36?
Yeah, so it was not an intentional dive. My foot just slipped off my brake pedal, just straight up going into the corner. That wasn't really a corner I was looking to pass in. It's a left followed by a right-hander, so even if you get the inside there, you lose it in the next corner. And I was trying to set him up out of 5 down the back straight into 6. I felt like that was where I was better. And I went to just brake a little bit early, and I had my foot a little low on the brake pedal, and I just slipped right off. And did my best to take a little avoiding action to miss him. I don't know if I messed him up at all or gave him any damage that was long-lasting, but pretty much just a disappointing day. I think I'm still probably going to advance in mid-season madness, which is always nice. But that race was so fun up front, and I think we were putting on quite a good show between the 4 of us. That's kind of strung out a little bit now. We've had some errors and some issues, but yeah, I just almost want to apologize for stinking up the show there.
Well, it was exciting when it happened for us, at least, but it was fun watching you and Eric go at it there the early parts of this race. It was definitely disappointing to see it end up that way, though, but glad you're in good spirits after that incident, and looking forward to next week, of course. Who do you have to shout out and thank after, like you said, it kind of disappointing with you?
Yeah, you know, always shout out SAAC. Shout out the boys in SAAC that have been doing it for 4, 5, 6 years now. It's crazy to see how far we've come. Shout out to you guys every week with the killer broadcasts, getting better every single week. We love those. And, you know, shout out to all the guys that are showing up and showing out every week, putting on a good show, and making it fun for everyone. So, yeah, that's about it for me.
All right, thanks for taking time and talking with us, Cody. Obviously not when you wanted to talk to us, but enjoy your evening, and hopefully it goes better next Thursday.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
And
That was Cody Rivera's earlier contender with this
big
guy,
contact
Eric
turn
Peter.
1! Devin Frank just absolutely slammed the wall on the exit of turn 1. That's probably going to end his night. He was running in the 7th position. Meanwhile, we just saw our second place driver, Eric Heater, come back down pit road. I'm not sure what his strategy was there. I don't know if he was taking damage or maybe he was short on fuel.
He definitely did not have the jack go up from what we were watching. As we
Yeah,
look at
I'm
this
wondering
replay.
if maybe we were wrong in thinking this was a one-stop race. Looking at the data right now, we're 46 laps here tonight, and that first pit stop for everybody was on approximately lap 22. So it's really tight whether these drivers can make it on one stop. So I'm wondering maybe he just decided to go ahead and he had nothing to lose. He had almost a minute ahead of Aaron Brown in 3rd. Also, meanwhile, Kramer Burns was running in the 4th position. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he just had a 2.5 minute long pit stop, and I'm not sure what happened to that car. I'm guessing he had some damage that he had to fix, but that's dropped him all the way back to the 9th position.
To be
I
frank,
love this commitment of the 56 car.
to be frank, I'm very, yeah. That car is crunched. And
Yes.
2 puns intended there.
Yeah, Devin Frank, the Crunch sponsorship has been a very on-point sponsorship the way his season has gone. He has just been in the middle of it seemingly every accident this season. A lot of it not his doing. That one was his doing, but a lot of just incidents where he has been middle pack where all the chaos is. So, yeah, the Crunch car living up to its name once again here tonight.
You know, I think what he
I think he was
needs...
hoping for the caution.
I think what he needs is he needs to take Crunch off and put Reese's on his car. Instead of his car getting crunched, maybe he'll have some sweet moves that will help him get to victory lane after getting some Reese's sweet moves of the race.
So I'm going to stop you there because I'm going to be honest. The worst promotion in all of motorsports is the Reese's sweet move of the race. It would be a
We're
good
talking
promotion.
about it. We're talking about it. Leave it there. If it was the worst promotion, we wouldn't be talking about
That
it.
is true. But it's the Arkham series. Do it in a series
Well,
that...
Shocky Toppy with a big moment off of turn 2 there. It's going to
Do it in a
save the car
series
in
that actually
front
has
of
good
the race
action in those
leader.
races.
Brett.
right in front of the race
Right
leader
in
is
front of
Shocky
the race
Tarpley.
leader. Shocky Tarpley with a big fishtail off turn 2. They're coming off of turn 5 now, heading to you. Luke Peters able to get by him on the straightaway.
Yeah. Sorry, that was not occurring in front of my scaffolding, so I had no clue it was going on.
Squirrel.
I am not ADHD at all. Michael Walls, meanwhile, pulling off pit road. He just had a pit stop. Probably it looked like for damage for that number 17 machine. He is running in the 10th position right now. Only 14 cars still running. Only 6 on the lead lap, and 4 of them in danger of going a lap down. Luke Peters putting on a show here tonight. Wyatt Roberts actually has gotten pretty close to that 45 of Andretti Robinson for the 5th position right now. He does, though, have, I believe that is the 0-2 of Traver Burns between him and the 45 of Andretti Robinson. Traver Burns only running in the 8th position, 1 lap down.
You mentioned how few cars are on the lead lap. There are only 2 cars 1 lap down.
Yeah, only 6 on the lead lap, 2 1 lap down, 2 2 laps down, 2 3 laps down, 1 4 laps down, and Brad Sawinski is still running, now scored 10 laps down, but he has been on pit road for the last 2 minutes. Devin Frank also currently dropping back, still on pit road, and Aaron Brown spins it in turn 6. We got troll turn 6. He's gonna pull up right in front of Miles. Almost a big accident there.
And they're not far ahead of the leaders at all.
Yeah, they're not far ahead of the leaders, and they're also not far ahead of the battle for 5th between Andretti Robinson and Wyatt Roberts. That lets Matthew Miles move up into the 3rd position, and Andretti Robinson and Wyatt Roberts pulling up on that. Meanwhile, Cody Webster has passed Devin Frank for 11th as Devin Frank still sits on pit road.
Saw Brown do this earlier in turn 1. This is turn 6. A little bit part of the corner, he lost it with just a quick flick spin, and that was a close call like Brett mentioned. Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was about to be a track blocking accident there on the exit of turn 6. Meanwhile, Malachi Drake has caught the concrete on the exit of turn 1. I think he's going to be able to keep it going, though.
See, right behind them, Luke Peters in the midst of this lap traffic.
Oh, Aaron Brown, lock up turn 1 into the outside wall once again. Yeah, and Luke Peters, those 3 cars in front of him, Aaron Brown, Andretti Robinson, and Wyatt Roberts, are all lead lap cars, and they are all battling each other for the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions. Meanwhile, big lockup for Zachary Thornton in turn 1, right in front of Shocky Tarpley.
You see Brown just slowly getting closer and closer to Peters here with these moments. Rick keeps calling out in the corners, and he's going to dive right there on Roberts, put him 1 lap down. See big brake lock up there, just ahead of him, probably either from Robinson or Brown.
Yeah, Matthew Miles has loving that. He's pulled out to a decent lead ahead of Aaron Brown for 3rd. They're going to make it through. Traver Burns, I'm still not sure what happened to him.
Whoa! Peters slightly caught the wall there in turn 6. I don't think it was enough to do damage, Josh. We've seen a lot like that tonight, but just a crazy moment there.
Yeah, and I was going to say, by the way, earlier we saw Eric Heater come back down pit road. I'm wondering if he's thinking it's unlikely, but since we do have cautions here tonight, there is a possibility for a green-white checkered. I'm wondering if his thought process was maybe to come down pit road, top off, just in case we get that caution that maybe gives us a restart.
Well, if it's going to happen, it's probably going to be from this group of traffic right here.
Yeah, as they right now working their way through turn 1, Luke Peters all over Andretti Robinson. Really, Luke Peters, no reason for him to rush through this lap traffic. He has a 37-second lead out behind Eric Heater, but a gaggle of cars all battling for position right around our race leader right now.
Yeah, Peters was able to make easy work there of Robinson through turn 2, Josh.
And by the way, Brad Sawinski has once again pulled off pit road. He is 11 laps down.
I think Robinson was doing a lot of mirror driving there. I don't know if he wanted to allow Peters to get by. Robinson looked like he slid a little bit, and Peters was able to...
Oh, and Robinson almost clipped the wall there on the exit of turn 6.
Sneak by.
Yeah, that's still our best action on the track. Battle for the 3rd through 6th positions going on right now. It's a big lockup for Zachary Thornton into turn 6. He's able to keep it out of the walls. He's still struggling around. Up running in 12th, he's gotten by Devin Frank, who is still sitting on pit road. big lock for Cody Webster in turn 1. He's able to get it turned, keep it out of the wall. He's running 11th, 3 laps down.
Peters coming across the line, takes 7 laps to go.
And Matthew Miles. Oh, big kind of door for Malachi Drake. That's right in front of Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown's going to lock up and go into the wall.
Somehow Peters snuck through.
They all stuck through. Meanwhile, by the way, Matthew Miles just pitted from the 3rd position.
Oh, Malachi Drake into Wyatt Roberts.
Oh.
This is going to be the track blocking scenario.
Oh.
Trevor Burns
Trevor
involved.
Burns.
Brown involved.
Oh, round again.
They're all rolling
They
now.
all get going off of turn 2.
Has not met whatever our incident required number is, so we do not have a caution.
Brown cannot turn his car. He might cause more issues in front of Trevor Burns. Wyatt Roberts
And,
just behind.
new
Wyatt
car.
Roberts going to get through.
And I was questioning, I
Here
guess
comes
Matthew
Matthew
Miles
Topley.
I'm guessing Matthew Miles was short on fuel, but him deciding to stay out may have been a very good move. Wyatt Roberts going to get by Aaron Brown there in the turn 6, but Aaron Brown going to try to fight back as they head down towards turn 7.
Brown is struggling. He's going to lock it up.
And Aaron Brown has required repairs, so he is going to have to pit. So I honestly don't really know why he's battling so hard right now. Nothing really to gain right now if he's going to have to come down pit road. Meanwhile, Eric Heater, our 2nd place car's had a big lockup in the turn 6. He is 39 seconds behind Luke Peters, who is finally back out in clean air, although he is coming up on Michael Walls to put him 3 laps down. Matthew Miles pitted there, I believe, for fuel, and has come out in the
Sounds like he'll be able to pit with Burns on his inside, barely squeaks through Trevor Burns and Chucky Topley there in turn 12.
In something to look for. I don't know where Luke Peters is at on fuel, but we've seen now a couple cars appear to have to dive onto pit road for fuel. Luke Peters did pit a little later than some of our other cars, but if he has to dive on pit road, Eric Heater is on the outside of having a chance of catching him.
It would be a tall task for Heater to catch him. We saw the last pit sequence with these two, and Peters really was the one that came out the beneficiary in that as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, by the way, we are down to only 2 cars running on the lead lap right now. Meanwhile, by the way, we got a battle though now for the 7th position, heating up between Trevor Burns and Shockey Tarpley. Shockey Tarpley, I believe, very close to whether he would advance over Cody Rivera. Every position huge for that 25 in mid-season madness right now. No, Aaron Brown has exited pit road. He is still in the 6th position, about 20 seconds ahead of Trevor Burns.
We watched Trevor Burns come off turn 12, going to lead Shockey Topley in that battle for 7th on the front straightaway.
Malachi
We see
Drake.
another car dive for pit lane. Malachi Drake in the 9th position.
I believe Malachi Drake had repairs. Yeah, he did from that contact in turn 1 we saw a couple laps ago. So he's got a pit for repairs. That will possibly bring Michael Walls by him for the 9th position, assuming he does not have significant repairs. Meanwhile, Aaron Brown may have had more problems. I just saw him show up as slow on the track on my screen.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say he had a little bit of issue.
Oh,
Yeah, he's slow through turn 6. And he's got another
the front end destroyed.
He's got another meatball, so Aaron Brown.
I think he has a little bit more than a meatball. Oh,
It didn't
man.
happen in front of my
Big
scaffolding.
sending to turn 4. Holy cow.
Yeah, it didn't happen in front of my scaffolding, so.
I didn't think you would hear that explosion. That was a big hit.
Oh, Eric Heater locked it up there in the turn 6 and may have clipped the wall on exit. I think he kept it out of it, or if he tapped it was barely.
Oh, right in front of Trevor Burns and Shockey Tarpley. Tarpley's to the back bumper.
He's going to be a roadblock. Oh! In the wall again. He's been in the wall 4 or 5 times since we've panned back to him.
Yeah, that's going to drop him to 8th. Another
Nine
spot for Shockey
change.
Tarpley. That would be a big upset if he can get through over Cody Rivera. especially considering Cody Rivera's skill here on these road courses. Meanwhile, Devin Frank has called it a day. He will finish probably in 14th, assuming Brad Sawinski can complete 2 more circuits. That will leave us with 13. With 13 cars still on track.
Ooh.
Big lockup for Eric Heater in the turn 1. He almost clipped the tires.
Matthew Miles
Look
got
on
wide there.
Miles. Yeah. Big
That
hit there
battle
in turn
still
2 for the
ongoing
3 car.
for the 6th position. Really tells you the pace the leader is setting. That battle between Traver Burns and Shockey Tarpley is 2 laps behind the leader. Although Traver Burns really would be a lead lap car, he had a 2-minute 30-second pit stop earlier in this race. I believe. I am double checking. No, I was wrong on that. I don't know what happened to him, but I think he got some damage and had to pit earlier. Other than that, I think he's had a very solid race, but. Meanwhile, Malachi Drake has exited the pits and is right in front of our race leader. He has now passed Aaron Brown. Drops Aaron Brown back to the 9th position. Micah Walls appears. Well, Micah Walls just came down pit road as well. Aaron Brown also still on pit road. Micah Walls had a meatball flag. I don't know what happened, but apparently trouble for that 17 of Micah Walls. And it's a race between him and Aaron Brown to see who gets their required repairs done first, as who will be in the 9th position after this.
Shockey Tarpley gonna lock it up just behind that 0-2 of Traver Burns. Tarpley's there.
Yeah, and Tarpley, I don't know what the points look like. As I said, I don't know what the points look like, but he is right in that battle for advancing in the mid-season madness. So that 6th spot could be huge as far as points. Michael Walls has exited the pits ahead of Aaron Brown. That will move him to the 9th position, drop Aaron Brown to 10th. Meanwhile, Shockey Tarpley through turn 6, right on the rear bumper of the 0-2 of Traver Burns.
This guy's nose to tail, and I think this point right here is where Tarpley struggles. He really locked it up there, just behind Traver Burns.
Yeah, trouble getting into turn 8. That really slows down your turn 9. Now getting through 10 and 11, and he sees a little bit of that deficit there, but I think he's been a lot stronger right here in turn 12. He's been really pouncing right there, just getting super close to that inside wall, and we've seen him really attack those braking zones as well, Josh.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job there.
Yeah, Shockey Tarpley still all over the rear bumper. Meanwhile, Matthew Miles, our 5th place runner, has kind of closed up on that battle. He is a lap ahead of them. Aaron Brown, by the way, he is still on pit road, and Cody Webster has gone by for 10th. And our points leader, Zachary Thornton, we were saying he was probably going to lose the points lead tonight. Just by keeping at it here tonight, he's now up to the 11th position. I believe he will probably actually retain our points lead here tonight, although Wyatt Roberts has had a really good race, so it might be a little tight between those two.
As we watch this battle for the 6th position continuing with Shockey Tarpley stepping the rear end out in some of these corners, Josh, we're about to see the white flag.
Yeah, it is very close. The leader taking the white flag. Tarpley still all over the back bumper of Traver Burns.
Yeah, Luke Peters has taken the white flag. He is through turn 1 on the final circuit of today's race.
Peters, absolutely a dominant race, being out front. Had some trouble, was able to catch back up past Heater. And ever since getting back by Heater, he's set sail.
Yeah, Peters through turn 6 for the final time. Meanwhile, still through turn 1, Shockey Tarpley got a good run off. He might have a chance at Traver Burns in the turn 2.
Not quite, as they go on the straightaway between 2 and 3. Burns with the better run off. Tarpley losing car lengths by car lengths as Mario's all over his bumper now.
Oh, Tarpley slides it there off of 5.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have the run in the turn 6, but we'll see how deep he sends it. He did look to get a decent run off turn 6, so we'll see if he can maybe do something through the last set of corners. Meanwhile, Luke Peters is our winner here today at Chicago.
Yeah, checkered flag was waving. We saw him cross start-finish line.
He actually just ran the fastest lap of the race to finish this thing out, a 125.101.
Shows the pace of that 50 machine. Wow.
Also shows how little tires have fallen off in this race as he runs the fastest lap of the race on 46 lap old tires.
Gosh, Colorado for 6.
Yeah, and it's going to be off the final corner. Tarpley not close enough, and Trevor Burns will get 6th place over Tarpley.
And just behind him, Mars is going to finish in 5th.
And what a
Very-
race.
Very endurance style race, Josh.
I'm telling you,
Sir,
like, I have called a lot of road course races that have been absolutely fun to watch. I don't know if I have like watched any road course race that just had action going on the entire race, and a lot of it was for the race lead.
Yeah, it was a very close battle that first half, like you mentioned when we talked to Cody. But even then, we didn't really know what was going on with Heater there, taking that second stop, and we didn't know if Peters was going to be in the same pair there. But honestly, just a dominant performance there for Luke Peters, and just a great show for the rest of the field. Just competition everywhere, with everyone making slight mistakes, putting a lot of people close to each other. But
Yeah, a lot of good battles here tonight. It's an interesting perspective watching the entire race from one camera angle, approximately on the scaffolding here, or scissor lift or whatever mode of height I was using here in turns 1 and turn 6. Saw a lot of action tonight. Really, really came down to surviving. The top 2 probably our 2 cleanest drivers all night, but really those top 5, I would say the 5 drivers who kept it the cleanest here tonight, none of them had pit stops. Had unscheduled pit stops for damage. I believe everybody else in the field, from Trevor Burns on back, had at least one unscheduled stop to take damage repair. But yeah, that ended up being the difference here tonight. Luke Peters just had the pace to pull away and pick up the victory, but he was also, more importantly, other than that one mistake he made trying to pass Eric Heater early, he was able to keep it clean, and that was really the key to him picking up, eventually coming home with the victory here tonight.
So no burnout from race leader. I'm wondering if he ran out of fuel there at the end.
well, he was getting a little aid around the track through some of those final corners there, and just kind of pushed around there by a Heater there in on that front straightaway there.
Well, taking a look at the unofficial results, Luke Peters, of course, claiming the race win. Eric Heater, 2nd place, a very close 45 seconds behind. 1 lap down, and 3rd was Andretti Robinson. 4th, Wyatt Roberts. 5th, Matthew Miles. Trevor Burns finishes 6th. Shockey Tarpley 7th. Malachi Drake 8th. Michael Walls, how about that, 9th? And Cody Webster finishes in 10th.
Zachary Thornton, our points leader tonight, survived to finish 11th. Aaron Brown, 12th. Believe he did not finish, and Devin Frank did not in that 56 crunch machine. He finished 14th, 13 laps down. Brad Sawinski was 15th. Alexander Schumacher 16th. Brady Floyd 17th. Cody Rivera's 18th. Will Cloud, Connor Zola, and Brandon Feeder continue. They round out the top 20.
And then our final 2 finishers here tonight, Ollie Reeves comes home 31st, and then Ethan Eckert. I don't know if he actually completed a lap here tonight. He was definitely out there in qualifying, but did not complete a single lap of the race. He did start the race, but I believe didn't, just roll around and parked it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for clarification on our advancements in Mid-Season Madness. I'm trying to get some clarification on actually the rules, because so far currently the matchups are showing up, it appears, as what they were entering, not including drivers being removed. So I'm trying to get some clarification so we can give you which 8 drivers will advance to the quarterfinals, which will be next week.
All right, so let's see here. Brett, go ahead and interview our third place finisher, Andretti Robinson.
Yep, I climbed down from the scaffold and now here on pit road, and I have caught up with our third place finisher here tonight, Andretti Robinson. Andretti, chaotic race here today at the Chicago Street Circuit. You were involved in quite a hornet's nest, especially towards the end of that race. Multiple cars there battling for that final podium position. You're able to get through and come home in the third position. How were you able to navigate the chaos and bring it home with the third place finish here?
Honestly, I was just trying to risk management was the key today. Since it's a street circuit, these cars do not belong on a street circuit. Everyone knows that. Big, heavy cars, and there's no room for error because one little mistake can cost you seconds. So it was just, I wouldn't say I went clean. Y'all saw me, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if y'all saw me, I self-spun and still got to third. Everyone else has made more mistakes than me. So today was just all about risk management.
Yeah, and you were battling in the Mid-Season Madness tournament. I think you were against Aaron Brown, although I think that matchup might have changed based on drivers not making it. Not sure exactly. I'm still waiting clarification on that. But Abel, I believe that third place finish, no matter what's going to put you through the next round. As you go forward in that, what do you need to do to keep moving forward in the Mid-Season Madness tournament and keep advancing?
Just keep going for top fives because as the Mid-Season Madness is going to keep going, top 10s is not going to cut it. So I need to start running up front more. Cody, my teammate, he's really good. So I go to him every time I struggle with the track. Even this week, he's helped me out. And I'd like to thank him for getting third place because he's huge to this team.
Yeah, and we saw Cody had trouble early in that race, but he definitely had some pace early on. You were definitely involved in that battle. You were able to slip through, and there was some incidents in front of you. But going forward, what can you take from this race, knowing we got several more road courses still left on the schedule as we move forward?
Just practice. Track time is all that matters. Even in other series, track time is key. I bought this track today. I bought it 3 hours ahead. So next week, now that I have all the other tracks, I can actually practice ahead of time instead of waiting till last minute.
Yeah, and last but not least, anybody you want to thank sponsors, anything you want to thank as you come home in third here tonight at Chicago?
I'd like to thank my friend Austin Duran for making this design, and especially Cody. Even though this 4-race stretch of chaotic tracks, it was very questionable, I definitely had a lot of fun. So huge shout out to Cody, and huge shout out to all of Side Draft Racing, Wyatt Roberts, Matthew Miles, and Traver Burns. It was basically just me versus those three, and it was really fun. So huge shout out to them.
Yeah, and then once again, that's Andretti Robinson, our third place finisher. Congrats on the third place finish, and best of luck as we move forward here in the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series.
Thank you.
Third place finisher, Andretti Robinson. Driver number 45. Who Brett was just talking to. Adam, I think you've caught up with Eric Eater.
Hey Eric, it's Adam up in the JCTV booth to get a copy.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I'm going to start off with the beginning of the race. You were very fast to start off, and then you had a dive bomb from Luke going into turn 1, and then not a dive bomb, but Cody slipping off the brake into turn 1 on you. And what was that like? Both those incidents like from the view of the 99?
Yeah, the first incident with Luke there was mostly my fault. I just kind of missed the corner, and I was too slow right in the racing line, so it didn't really affect either of our races too much. So hopefully no harm done, no harm, no foul. But with Cody there, I'm not really sure what happened on his end. I guess, like you said, he slipped off the brake, and he did tag me in the rear end, and that got me a little bit of damage. It said I had wheel damage, but I didn't really feel that much of a difference. So, again, no harm, no foul. It's unfortunate that it ended his race, so I do feel bad for him there. But yeah, from there, I just did not have the pace and did not have the fuel efficiency to make it to get a run at Luke there. I had to make an extra pit stop. Probably, I think what the issue was just my shifting technique. I was using a bit more fuel on every shift, and that just added up to about half a lap difference. And that was it.
Well, thanks for getting to that. I was going to ask about that extra pit stop, but getting to the end of the race, obviously a lot of people having issues around the track, and you were one of the most clean cars out there, other than those two incidents at the start, like I mentioned. What was it like just obviously leading the field at the start with a lot of chaos there, and then just trying to navigate all the lap traffic throughout the race?
Yeah, the lap traffic was really courteous. Everyone was letting all the leaders by. It was really nice to see. Not many moments. It was pretty much all clean sailing for everyone. I feel like I don't know if any other incidents happened that I couldn't see, but for me, I think for most of the guys up front, it was pretty easy. So good.
Yeah, there were plenty of incidents out back, don't we? I guess you just avoided them all.
A bit lucky.
Well, moving forward to the next race, obviously a second place finish. Who do you have to shout out and thank to get you here tonight with a good result?
Just my team with Brady and Will. They were courteous when I went around them. All the sponsors of the team, everyone, and of course you for broadcasting.
And real quick, final question: Indianapolis next Thursday night. Quick opinion on that race?
That's the oval.
Yes, from the schedule, that's what it says.
Yeah, I do really enjoy Indianapolis, so hopefully we can have a good showing there.
All right, well, see you next Thursday night. Good luck, and hopefully it's one spot better, Eric.
Thank you.
That was a runner-up Eric Heater in the 99 tonight, Josh, with, of course, a second-place finish at the streets of Chicago.
Yeah, so as we know, Luke Peters, race winner, he does not do interviews. I did message him in Discord, asked if he had anything he wanted to say for me to let you guys know. I didn't see anything back. So we're not going to hear from Luke Peters after another win. But I do have an update from race officials. Brad Sawinski, who was scored in 14th, actually did finish ahead of who was it? It was Devin Frank. So Sawinski actually will finish 13th. Frank will get 14th, so their positions are swapped from what we saw in the unofficial results. Which actually scores them both in 14th, but Sawinski is 13th, Frank 14th.
So I have confirmation on our matchups for next week. So actually, the way it was working is any driver who didn't show up would be replaced by the next driver on the replacement lift in order of seeding. And then if both drivers in a matchup didn't show up, that matchup stayed the same. So they did not reseed based on the replacement. So the matchups actually were as they were initially were. So our results, Zachary Thornton holds on to advance by 5 points over the 16 seed Shockey Tarpley. Luke Peters advances over Matthew Miles by a large margin. Wyatt Roberts over Will Cloud. Cody Riveras holds on over Cody Webster. Malachi Drake able to pull the upset on Bradley Sawinski. Michael Walls over Brady Floyd. Brian Lorenzo advances over Luke Mahone as neither of them show up, so the higher seed Brian Lorenzo advances. And Andretti Robinson able to advance over Aaron Brown. I believe that was actually pretty much a direct race for that spot in the next round when they were battling until Aaron Brown had his issues. So our matchups next week at Indianapolis will be the 1 seed Zachary Thornton as they reseed you on the next week will be the 1 seed Zachary Thornton versus the 8 seed Malachi Drake. 2 seed Luke Peters versus 7 seed Brian Lorenzo. 3 seed Wyatt Roberts versus 6 seed Andretti Robinson. And 4 seed Cody Rivera versus 5 seed Michael Walls.
And thank you, Brett, for confirming that and the update there. So, guys, I mentioned it already. I've called a lot of road courses that have been really fun to watch. But I don't think any of them have topped what this was able to do tonight. I was not expecting this out of these guys. That was fun with a capital FUN.
Yeah, that was a very phenomenal race. Kind of a little bit of what I expected with all the chaos, but I didn't expect it to persist throughout the whole race, and I definitely did not expect such a tight battle for the first half, and with Luke Peters just running away at the end, so it was definitely an exciting race for what is a crazy circuit, a weird layout for stock car racing, and it's just something different and something unique, and like you mentioned, fun.
Yeah, and this track, that race for a little bit. I mean, the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series, every time it goes to a road course, it puts on quite the show. We've seen it time and time again. Today, even though you eventually don't see that tight battle for the win, Luke Peters dominating here today, but you saw throughout that race, never really was there any moment where there was really not some battle for position going on track and drivers racing hard for it. And can't ask for much more on a road course, especially with the gap in skill you typically see in these road course races in kind of any stock car league. But yeah, as we move forward, next week, Indianapolis Oval, I believe another track that we are seeing for the first time on JCTV, at least. I don't even know if we've seen the road course, but I almost certain
We've seen the Oval. We have.
Oh. When did we see that?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It has been.
I've been before I was on racing on JCTV.
And actually, a random fun fact. I was racing in a league. This was not on JCTV, but I was racing in a league at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, talking to a name that you guys might recognize, Cameron Caldwell. I was actively racing and failing at it when the name JCTV was created.
And that is our fun fact of the night.
Cameron Caldwell came up with the name. I would not have been that creative.
Yeah, JCTV, as some of you may know if you've ever looked for us on YouTube, also Jesuit Catholic TV, as that shows up first in the YouTube results a lot of the time. But JCTV, always good to be here.
Yeah, we're named after some guy named Joshua Coppernoll Television. I don't know. He's a cool guy, but
I mean, I like to just believe that we're really representing whatever that school is that shows up first in the results.
So anyway, all jokes aside, we do head to Indianapolis next week for the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. That's going to be 200 miles, 80 laps around the 2.5 mile oval. Rectangle, rather. I'm looking forward to that. I've not called a race at Indianapolis in a very long time, and that is, I'm stoked to see that on the schedule. This upcoming Saturday, the penultimate race in the Pits News Truck Series. We head to Atlanta. I've only been saying it all week. It's not Homestead. That's where NASCAR is actually heading, and that's where I keep wanting to say we're going. But it is Atlanta, the old version of Atlanta. Really looking forward to that. Whereas Brett is not.
I am looking forward to it. I'm really good at that track, but I am also cursed there. And every league race I have ever done there, I have gotten killed in some stupid fashion, which really culminated in Slide Job this past Tuesday night.
It's going to be all about tire saving, and yeah. We saw Slide Job there just a couple nights ago. We're going to see in the Pits News Truck Series visit there a couple nights from now. And then...
I was going to say, and then we got Slide Job next week. Always a favorite here on JCTV, Talladega Super Speedway. The start finish line not in the tri-oval, plate racing in the slide job racing series. The Circumference Ultimate Motorsports looks to come back and defend their plate track win from Daytona earlier this season. We're hoping we can repeat there, and we continue to try to advance as they will set the final four in the Slide Job Racing League.
So plenty of action coming up on JCTV as always, and I'm looking forward to them. As I mentioned, the penultimate race for the Beta Sim Racing Independent News Truck Series, we're going to find out who the final four are battling for a championship. We know after winning back-to-back races, all it took was him just to win one race, but we know driver number 43, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, is racing for a championship. We got to figure out who the other three are. And
I have tried to convince Ethan and Michael Kruger that I am a much better option in the final four for their championship odds than any of the other drivers potentially advancing. So, I don't think I've convinced him, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, so anyway, looking forward to that, and Brett has a chance to advance, or he could get eliminated.
It's going to be eliminated.
So that's going to do it from us here for the Chicago Street Course. These guys, the track crew, got to quickly tear all this stuff down, get the roads back up and running, and so we're gonna sign off so they can start doing that. And if you want, you can head to the north side of Chicago, where you can browse Wrigley Field, my favorite place in Chicago. Thank you for tuning in. As always, big shout out to all of you guys, viewers at home, the admins of the series, and the drivers, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. All the amazing crew at JCTV behind the scenes. And on behalf of Brett Bennett, Adam Kuhn, I'm Joshua Copperell, saying so long, stay safe, and we will see you next time.
Forward right now when it struggles to start, no, it won't turn over. But he was laughing when I signed the deal. The distance between point A and the end of the day, it feels like forever. Well, maybe I'm just asleep at the wheel, running on empty. Gas ain't cheap. Can't change the tail light. There's something I can do for me. Oh, I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm cleaning the slate today. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm seeing my way through the pain. I'm not mechanically inclined to know that I've got a flat while it drags to the shoulder. It's hard enough to keep my eyes on the road. And not sure if the gear's gonna hold. It's starting to smoke, but I can't pull over. Left foot on the gas and I'm almost home. Running on empty. Caffeine drains. Can't change the station, but there's something I can do for me. Oh, I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm cleaning the slate today. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm seeing my way through the pain. I'll do it myself, don't need no one else. Sick and tired of always asking for help. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade, and I'm cleaning my today.